And welcome back to another Paul's Aquariums unboxing video. We have a lot of awesome fish in this lot. Two different wholesalers, some really awesome little tiny catfish that we have not had for like 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer than that. They are super, super cool. There's axelottals, there's all sorts of weird stuff. We're gonna start with box number 1. Oh wait, I am Paul from Paul's Aquariums in Oxley, Brisbane. Yay, aquarium shop in Brisbane. There's a link down the bottom. So if you go to the bottomy link things, there's a link to the online store because we've got a deal on stuff halfway through this video and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, let's get started with the first things. And the first thing, is a giant axolotl. That is a giant gold Mexican walking fish. Do come from Mexico, even though they're bred in Australia, and they're not really a fish, but they do have legs, so they can kind of walk, but walk underwater. Axolotls are a tadpole stage of a salamander that is evolved to stay in the tadpole stage. So they'll breed in the tadpole stage, they don't come out of the water, they've got fluffy red gills, as you can see there. Generally look cool, and they do like the water cold, so below 20 degrees. So this time of year, you're not gonna have any problem keeping them without a chiller, but in summer where we are, you need to chill the water to make them happy and generally look like awesome axolotls. Now, I think there are a few. Yep, there's quite a few. There is a white one. Look at that. Oh, that's kind of a cool axolotl. So there's white, there's yellow, there's another yellow one. There's a few in here. Oh, and a really, really bright gold one. If you can kind of see that through the bag. A little bit murky bag, but axolotls. So there is some footage on the screen. They're gonna max out about 30 centimeters. So you kind of want a tank about 150 liters for 1 or 2, which is about a 3-foot or 90 centimeter tank. Don't really swim that much, but when they're 30 centimeters, you don't really want them in a 2-foot tank for their whole entire life. So give them a little bit of space. Don't need to come out of the water, so you can have the tank filled all the way up to the water. All the way up to the water. You're gonna have the tank filled all the way up to the top. Just make sure you've got a lid so they don't accidentally jump out and end up being on the floor, because they're like a fish, they don't want to be on land. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Except mud skippers and a whole lot of other fish. Anyway, axolotls back in stock. Next. And these are awesome. Okay, we have not had these for ages. These are albino Cardinal Tetras. And again, like the albino neons, the albino Cardinal Tetra gets rid of all that brown color. So you have a blue fish with red on a white body. Very, very pretty fish. Occasionally we get the albino neon tetras, but we haven't had the albino cardinals for ages. And like a neon tetra, they are a tetra from South America. These guys and girls like it a little bit more acidic, so anything pH-wise 5.5 to 6.5, temperature-wise 24 to 28 degrees Celsius, and they will do fine. They are very, very cool. I'm gonna pinch a few for myself because why wouldn't I want these? They are really, really nice fish. Can't wait to breed them. Yeah, just a nice looking tetra. If you want something a little bit different, nothing wrong with normal Cardinal Tetras, but albino Cardinal Tetras are just a little bit more awesome. A great start to the video. More awesome tetras. Okay, these are really small, but these are splashing tetras. And if you haven't heard of splashing tetras before, they actually get a decent size. They get like about 6-7 centimeters on average, maybe tiny little bit bigger. And these are the tetras that jump into the leaves. They actually jump out of the water, breed out of the water. So the male will fertilize the female's eggs under a leaf, and then they drop back in the water. So the eggs develop in like a little jelly thing on the leaf, which is absolutely bizarre. And they're kind of a weird looking tetra too. Obviously they're small here, but they're like a long, weird looking fish. Otherwise everything else is perfectly fine. Obviously keep a lid on your tank, otherwise they're gonna jump out and they're not gonna jump back in. But very, very cool if you want something a little bit unique, a little bit different, and like the Cardinal Tetras, they're schooling, so keep a group of them. Once they're mature, they will pair up, and then you can try and breed them with the weird leaves above the water level thing. And yeah, just an all-round awesome, weird looking fish if you want something a little bit different. And I think the last bag in this smaller box, more tetras. Okay, those are Pristilla tetras or X-ray tetras. Again, South American fish. Really, really pretty fish, these. So they have like the clear X-ray body, obviously that's why they're called X-ray tetras, but they have the yellow and the black tips on all their fins. Very, very pretty. If you want something peaceful, schooling, again, South American, so pH-wise 6.5 to 7 is perfectly fine. 22 to 26 degrees Celsius, and they will get a good 4 centimeters, so 3.5, 4 centimeters on average. Very pretty schooling fish. You want something nice that's not a normal neon tetra or whatever. these do really, really well with other tetras in nice heavily planted tanks. That was box number 1. Let's go to the next box. And these have got to be one of the coolest rainbow fish you can get. So these are from Papua New Guinea, so just north of Australia. They're a tropical rainbow fish, so they're going to survive anything from like 24 degrees up to about 28, 29 degrees Celsius. And pH-wise, these are more alkaline, so 7 to 8. They're going to max out a really decent size. These are Parkinsoni rainbows. These are the ones with the bright fluorescent orangey yellow on them. They are really, really cool fish. Obviously, when they're small, they're brown and look kind of boring, like just about every other rainbow fish. But when they get bigger and they start to color up, they are really, really awesome fish. So you want a bigger schooling fish that's going to max out like 12, 14 centimeters and get really, really wide. Go for these. They are absolutely awesome. I would take some of these home if I had somewhere to put big rainbow fish. Sadly, I don't. And by the time I do set up an awesome tank, actually, these would be really good with the pig-nosed turtles. Yeah, they probably won't have any available, but we do have a fair few bags of these if you are quick. They are awesome rainbows. Schooling again, so try and keep like 5 or 6 or more in a group. Absolutely awesome. They'll go fine with bigger tetras and so on and so on. Roughly fish that are a decent size, so don't mix them with tiny little fish, otherwise tiny little fish are going to go inside the rainbow fish. But really, really cool if you want something different and rainbow fishy and almost Australian native, but not quite. Haha. Next. And we have some killifish. Okay, so these are not from Africa. These are from Sri Lanka and India, I'm pretty sure. They look like a gold panchax, but they've got stripes on them. So they're Werner's killifish, max out about 8, 10 centimeters, a little bit nippy, so you don't want to mix them with things like peaceful tetras and that. Slightly bigger tetras, slightly bigger barbs, all that sort of stuff, they will be fine. Very cool, weird, underrated fish. So they spend most of the time on the surface. That's why they have like a weird flat mouth to them. Like other killifish, they only live for a couple of years. They are a tropical fish, so you want to keep them anything from 22 to 26 degrees Celsius. And pH-wise, 6.5 to just above 7, they will be perfectly fine. Very cool, very stripy. Yeah, don't get them in very often, but we have a fair few of them this time. And I'm pretty sure there are more killifish. Yes, we have some African killifish, so steel blue killies. These are different again than these. I know, because there's killifish, then there's killifish. So these don't spend all their time on the surface like the other ones do. They spend most of the time sort of around the bottom of the tank and in the middle of the water column. So they're very, very cool. They are a little bit nippy. They don't get as big as the other killifish. I think they're from Nigeria or someplace like that in Africa. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm sure someone will. There's a lot of fish, and you have to remember a lot of stuff, but they are super nippy. The males are super colorful. The females are a little bit duller, but if you have males and females together, they're going to pretty much just glow. Very, very cool little fish if you want something a little bit different. Again, rough and tumble, so don't mix them with guppies or delicate fish, but these are small enough to go with bigger neon tetras and sort of stuff that sort of size, where the other where the other killifish are going to get a little bit bigger. These max out about sort of 5, 6 centimeters on average. Just to give you a rough idea on size. What else have we got? Oh, okay. From the Congo Tetras. There should be a couple of bags of these. These are a big schooling tetra, 6.5 to 7 on average, and they're a tropical fish again. So you want to keep your temperature roughly between that 22 and 26 degrees. Now these color up really nice and they get huge. They get a good 12 centimeters or so. Perfect fish if you want to mix something with rainbow fish and bigger barbs and bigger schooling stuff. Yeah, because they get so big, you don't really want to put them with tiny little neons and stuff when they're mature, unless you've got a really, really big tank where they can stay away from each other, because they are a pretty big, intimidating tetra. Not super aggressive or anything like that, but a really big one has a decent sized mouth, and little tiny guppy fry and stuff tend to go missing. But otherwise, everything that applies for other standard tetras sort of applies for these. They're just a little bit bigger than a standard tetra. And from the Congo, which is in Africa, obviously. Kind of goes with the killifish, but different part of Africa. Yes. Next. Hey, spotted Hoplo catfish. Okay, everyone that missed out a couple of weeks ago, I think it was like 3 weeks or so, we have more Hoplos in. And yes, they keep getting cheaper and cheaper, and they keep getting bigger and bigger. Next, we'll have adults. I have no idea what's happening. Yeah, that's the wholesaler for you. They started off tiny. They couldn't be the same batch. They would have sold out by now. So it's multiple batches, but more and more and more of them. I know. Will I even breed mine ever again? Probably not. I'll just wait for the albinos, and there may be albinos somewhere in there. Hopefully, we'll find out soon. But Hoplo catfish, South American catfish, bubble nest builders, max out about 20 centimeters. These are not the Hoplo sternum catfish, as I keep saying, so they don't get as big as the Hoplo sternos or the brown Hoplos. These keep the little spots for their whole entire life. And yeah, max out about 20 centimeters. So you can keep adult ones of these with adult neons and stuff. Obviously, smaller fish are going to get picked off by them, but they've sort of got a small mouth with little whiskers on the side. It's not really a biting mouth. They don't have that. Otherwise, tropical fish, they keep them anything from 22 degrees to 26, 28 degrees. And yeah, they will tolerate a wide range of pHs. From 6.5 to 7.5 is going to be fine with these guys and girls. Awesome Hoplo catfish. I warned you, didn't I? I said there would be awesome albino Hoplo catfish, and there they are. And this is ridiculous. These are almost as big as the ones I've been growing up at home for like the last 6 months. What are the wholesalers doing? Okay, these are not as cheap as the other ones until I'm about to breed them, then everyone will have them breeding and then they'll be cheap. Because that's what happens when you breed fish. But awesome, awesome, awesome. Look at the color of them. Okay, you can see them on the screen, but they are a yellowy color because they're albino, but they still have the little brown blotches to them. So they're not just a plain looking fish. Super cool. Everything applies to normal Hoplos, applies to these. These is just the albino version. Really, really nice. I know. I will be breeding them in summer when they're up to size, but you could jumpstart and get this size now and probably breed them before I do. Who knows? Anyway, maybe mine are bigger than this. Yeah, they'd be bigger than that. But awesome albino Hoplos to go with the normal Hoplos and everything else. It's been pretty awesome so far. Okay, another bag. Giant Dontios. Okay, now these are also very cool fish. They're going to max out pretty big, so about sort of 10 centimeters or so. Lovely green sort of body with a really nice squiggly yellow pattern to them. I know, schooling, big, peaceful. These would go really well with Hoplos. They'll go well with your rainbow fish, all that sort of stuff as well, because they're big, they're schooling, they're peaceful. Really, really nice. So you want to keep a group of them, obviously, because they're schooling. So any schooling fish, keep a group. The Hoplos are okay on their own, but they do better in groups. If you have like a group of Hoplos together, they will be fine. More the merrier with these. So try and get like 5 or 6. They'll swim back and forward in your tank. Awesome with rainbows, as I said, and other big rough and tumble fish. But there should be a few bags of those in there somewhere. More Tetras. Okay, we got these, I think, last month and we sold out. But these are your black Emperor Tetras. So these are the ones that are obviously jet black, but they have a really nice green or blue eye, depending on their mood and how the light hits them. Yeah, it'll go from blue to green, but an absolutely striking, awesome little Tetra from South America. Gonna max out about 5-6 centimeters at the most. Very cool if you want something that's not colorful because they're black, but they're colorful because they have a really cool eye. I know, it kind of makes no sense. Like the white and the black fish are not colorful, but they look awesome in planted tanks. But schooling again, try and get a group of them, so 5 or more. Anything pH-wise 6 to 7 and temperature 22 to 26, they will be perfectly fine as well. But black Emperor Tetras. So there's a couple of bags of these as well. So these are tiny little sparkling gouramis. If you haven't seen these before, they stay super small, about 4 to 5 centimeters at the max. Southeast Asian fish, like the water nice and warm, so anything from 24 to 30 degrees Celsius. pH just below 7, so 6 to 7 is perfectly fine for them. Very peaceful, absolutely awesome little fish with their tiny little glittery bodies. They're a micro sort of fish, so really, really small. They're still going to eat things like shrimp and picket stuff, so the more fish you have in the tank with shrimp, the less shrimp you're going to have, even though a lot of people recommend these to go in shrimp tanks. They're kind of predatory, so they spend all their time trying to hunt down little tiny shrimp, but they're perfectly fine with smaller tetras, so any micro raspora and stuff like that, you can have a group of these in with them. Like heavily planted areas, so they don't like big open areas, but there should be a couple of bags of those. They're relatively cheap, awesome little nano fish if you want something small. Oh, we have not had these for a while. Okay, look at their weird little suckery mouths on the bag. These are a nightmare to catch. So these are Borneo Suckers. So they're kind of like a cold water sucker fish, from mountain areas where there's like a lot of tree cover, so they live on fast flowing water with a lot of oxygen. They live on the little boulders themselves, and they use their little sucker to hold on more than eat algae. They eat a little bit of algae, they eat biofilm, they eat sort of crustaceans like little worms and shrimp and stuff like that, but they're not really an algae eater like a bristlenose or one of the sucker mouth catfish are. They're more got the holdy on mouth to eat food that goes past them, if that makes sense. But they'll survive anything from 18 degrees up to about 24 degrees or so, like a little bit colder than most of your tropical fish. If you do have them above 24 degrees, have a lot of circulation in your water because they want a high oxygen content. But look at them all stuck to the bag. I know. And some of them have spots, some of them have stripes, they interact with each other. They're kind of like a mini freshwater, what's that word I'm looking for? Stingray. And we have a bag of neon tetras. Okay, normal everyday red blue neons from South America. There should be a fair few bags of these in here. They are your super common, awesome little tropical fish, nice and cheap. I think they're like $2.50 each. Very pretty little fish. If you want a school of these, try and get like 6 or 10 or more. Awesome and peaceful. They're going to max out about that 4 centimeters, so 3.5, 4 centimeters at the most. Schooling from South America, so 22 degrees up to like 26 degrees, and pH wise 6 to 7, they will be perfectly fine. Really, really pretty. Obviously they don't get very big, so don't mix them with big rough and tumble fish, otherwise they're just going to get picked off. But if you want something nice, colourful, easy to keep, neon tetras are probably one of the better picks to go for. And I think, ooh, is it? It is. Oh, check out these awesome little catfish. Okay, we have not had these types of pygmy cories. These are Hatus Corydoras. We have not had these for, probably like 6 or 7 years. I have no idea why. We always have the normal pygmies, but we haven't had these. They kind of look like I was going to say Kerry Tetra, no, like a kitty Tetra. They have the same sort of pattern on the tail, black dot with 2 little white dots to them. Very peaceful, super cool little Corydoras if you want something small, schooling for a nano tank. I think we've only got 30 or 40 of those, so be super, super quick if you want some of these. I don't know if I want to take some home. I know. I may take some home and just not tell anyone, and you may see some in one of my fish room videos, or you may not. Anyway, I do have them for customers. If you want some cool little catfish, again, South American schoolings, you should come in and get some because they're really, really nice. Keep them as small tetras, nothing bigger than like neon tetra size, and you will be fine. Yay, awesome little Hatus Corydoras. Haha! And we have some awesome blue crayfish. Okay, we haven't had these for a little while as well, so these are your blue pearl yabbies. They're going to max out about 20 centimeters, and they're going to have a huge range in temperature and pH. So anything from 5 degrees Celsius all the way up to like about 28 degrees Celsius. Any warmer than that, you want a lot of oxygen in the water, otherwise they just don't cope too well. And pH wise, anything from 7 to 8. A little bit below 7 they'll cope with, but 7 to 8 is a good range for them. They're going to max out about 20 centimeters, which is a pretty decent sized blue crayfish. Every time they molt, they look bluer as well. They're going to dig up your plants, they're going to try and eat your fish at night. So if you pick them with fish and a lovely planted tank, expect to just have a trash tank and a really nice blue crayfish, because as they mature, they're just going to chomp at everything. If they don't catch the fish straight away, while the fish are asleep, they're going to be on the prowl trying to get to them. So all but the smallest fish that swim up the top, or big rough and tumble fish that don't eat the crayfish, are going to work with these. Otherwise, crayfish on their own are going to work perfectly well. Very cool. If you keep more than one per tank, you want a decent sized tank. If you just have one, a 2-foot tank is perfectly fine. Give them some caves, something to play with, and you will have an awesome pet blue crayfish. But there should be a few more in there somewhere. Awesome blue crays. Yay. There are a lot of fish. I know. We're halfway through, maybe. There's a lot of cool stuff. Okay, cherry barbs. I think we get cherry barbs just about every unboxing, but there should be some different cherry barbs we haven't had for a while in there as well. So these are the standard ones. They are an Asian fish, pH-wise 6.5 to 7, temperature-wise 22 to 26 degrees. They'll have a nice range of temperatures and pHs as long as it's stable. Males go a really, really red color, and the females go barb. Nice, peaceful cherry barbs. A lot of barbs are nippy. These are not nippy, so they're going to be fine with neon tetras, with guppies, all that sort of stuff. So if you want the bright red, awesome fish for your tank, go for these. But hold on, because there are better ones somewhere here. Better? Yes. Different. Different and better. No, not better, just different. Look at those. Okay, albino cherry barbs. Have not had albino cherry barbs for like a couple of months, it seems, maybe a month or so. The albino gene gets rid of the brown and that makes them just glow. They are so nice. I know, the only thing nicer than the albino cherry barbs were the albino longfin cherry barbs we had, and we haven't seen them since, but they were fluorescent. I'm pretty sure I still got a few at home. If you watch any of my unboxing, no, this is the unboxing video, watch some of the fish room videos. You'll see some of those somewhere there because I know I still got some. Very awesome, awesome fish. Super peaceful, as I said, same as the normal barbs, these are just the albino version. But if you want something that is really nice and colorful, quickly come in because I think we've only got like 25, 30 of those. They are super, super cool little fish. Yay, another nice fish. More lemon tetras. I'm pretty sure we had lemon tetras last week, but if we didn't, they're a tetra from South America, lemon colored with a red eye. Very pretty. They've got the yellow tip and the black tip on the fin. Schooling again from South America, so 6'5" to 7, 22 to 26 degrees Celsius. School of them, so get 5 or more. And they're just another nice peaceful fish. It's going to max out about 4 centimeters or so on average. And very pretty schooling fish if you want a nice group of, again, something different for your community tank. Okay, I really like these and I'm not taking any home because I have a tank full of them at home. Pink Panda Barbs. Okay. Called a Panda Barb again because they have the panda pattern, but they're pink. That's why they're a pink Panda Barb. They get a reddy pink color to the males. The females not so much so, but if you mix the males and females together, the males really glow. These are only little, so they're just starting to get their color, but they are super, super impressive. Awesome barbs. Going to max out about 5-6 centimeters. You can keep them with slightly bigger tetras, slightly bigger sort of, well, smaller dwarf cichlids, not big, big cichlids. All that sort of stuff, Hoplo catfish, all that, they'll be fine. So these are an Asian fish, pH-wise 6.5 to 7 again, and temperature-wise 22 to 26 is going to be perfectly fine for them as well. Schooling, so keep a group of them obviously, but really cool pink panda barbs. I think we had them about a month or so ago, all sold, got some more in, they all sold. We have some more in, well, they all sell. I'm not taking them home, so you have fair game on these awesome, awesome barbs. Come in quick because they're so cool. But there's a lot of cool stuff and there's more cool stuff. Let's go to that. We have the normal Cardinal Tetras. Okay, these go really well with the albino Cardinal Tetras. Exactly the same fish, but they're the common colored ones. If you want something that is a natural color in the wild, that's what these look like in the wild, go for it. 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, pH-wise, say 6 to 7, and they will be perfectly fine. They can go really acidic, but as we've seen a few videos of them in the wild, they've been close to like 6.8 or so. So very interesting, very cool, pretty fish. You would not think that they are like that in the wild. So many must get picked off by other predators because they're just glowing. And they live in areas where there's just like leaf litter and stuff on the bottom of the creeks or streamy type places. And yeah, they just glow. Come on, it is bright red and bright blue. So cool. But if you want something a little bit bigger than a neon tetra, same sort of idea, but they have the red that goes through the whole belly, go for Cardinal Tetras. The albinos. I'm so gonna take some albinos home. I've got these though, I've been breeding these, but very, very cool little tetras. And more tetras. These are kind of like the lemon tetras, but these are called rosy tetras and they have that rosy sheen to them. Same sort of idea, but they get a little bit bigger and their fins are a little bit longer and flowier. Super cool. Again, 6.5 to 7, 22 to 26 degrees Celsius schooling, so keep a group of them. Really nice black tops on the fins, and they really stand out in a planted tank because you get that really nice rosy hue to them. Pretty peaceful. You can keep them with guppies, you can keep them with smaller raspora, all that sort of stuff. They'll be fine with Cardinal Tetras, etc., etc. If you want, again, a slightly bigger tetra, these are going to max out like 20-cent piece size, so a little bit bigger than the others, but just a really impressive, nice tetra if you want something slightly bigger. So close, I thought they were the same fish, but they're not. So these are black phantom tetras, which is the same shape as a rosy tetra, but they're black and they have a really cool sort of neon green sort of bit in the black bit in the middle of them. Well, you can see it there. So once they settle into your tank, really nice, pretty fish. Same sort of things apply to like the rosy tetras that do to these guys and girls, even though they're sort of a different fish, but kind of related. Very cool little tetra if you want another group of something. Have a group of these, have a group of the rosy tetras in the same sort of tank, and they're going to look absolutely awesome. But black phantom tetras, one of those cool different types of tetras, get about the same size as well, so expect them to get about a 20-cent piece size, or between 10 and 20-cent piece size, I should say. They don't get as big, but very, very nice. Impressive looking fish for a community tank. The complete opposite. Look at them, you can hardly see them. Micro raspora. So these are maculata raspora. Yes, they are maculata raspora. Tiny, tiny little fish. One of the few fish you can get away with keeping with shrimp. Obviously going to eat baby shrimp, but they're not going to eat big ones. These are smaller than an adult shrimp. Max out about 1.5 centimeters. That is it. Very pretty, cool little fish. Yeah, they are nice. Very nice. But we have them back in stock if you would like some little micro raspora. 6.5 to 7, temperature wise 22, 26. They'll be perfectly fine in that range. And yeah, schooling, so keep a group of them. If you have 5 in your tank, you'll probably never see them unless your tank is like that big. So yeah, get a nice group of those and you'll see them go back and forward. But an all-round awesome little tiny micro raspora. Oh, from South America, more royal whiptail catfish. Okay, we had these a couple of weeks ago as well. These are the royal whiptail catfish that get huge. Really nice. They are black, they are browny tan. Sort of look like one of those black and brown sausage dogs, but with a longer tail and less fur and more water around them. So yes, very, very cool little fish. That was a bit of a stretch, wasn't it? But an awesome sucker fish. Going to max out about 30 centimeters, but it's mostly tail. So let's say they're 8 centimeters with a big tail. Yeah, 22 centimeter tail on an 8 centimeter fish, if that even makes sense. But yeah, they get about 30 centimeters, 25, 30 centimeters on average. Nice, peaceful sucker fish. So you can keep them with tetras, all that sort of stuff. Really appreciate wood to sort of just sucker onto and pretend they're another piece of wood. Awesome little catfish. Well, isn't that little though, is it? Awesome South American catfish. 6.5 to 7 and temperature wise 23, 24 degrees on average. You'll be perfectly fine with these guys and girls. More of them. Okay, that was that box. We've got 1 box to go. Wow. But first, let me show you some discounted stuff. We'll do that, discounted stuff, and then there's some cool stuff in the other box. Okay, and we are on the other side of the camera. So I do have a deal on this Fritz Completes water conditioner, which is a dechlorinator, breaks down chlorine, chloramine. You can 5 times dose it, exactly the same as Prime if you've ever used Prime before, and that will break down ammonia, nitrates and nitrites. So it is 20% off on www.paulsaquariums.com. So go to there, click the online store linky thing, and it is on the main page. If you're watching this in the future, there's probably other discounted stuff there. And if you're a member, you get 10% off the discounted price as well. So currently this is 20% off. I think a bottle like that, which will do, what's that, 9,000 litres is $23. So if you discount, I think it's like $18 or something like that. I'm no good with numbers, but the numbers are right on the website. And yeah, it comes in different size bottles. So you can get a little bottle like that, which is $9.95 with 20% off. I think it's like $7.95, and that will still do like 450 litres. So if you want to try a different dechlorinator, I ship anywhere in Australia. And yeah, if you're a member, don't forget to put your members discount code at checkout and you'll get 10% off it as well, which makes it even cheaper. Yeah, big bottles like that do like 36,000 litres. It's online only, so if you come into the store, it is the same price. But if you're coming into the store, you can do pick up to come into the store and it will be behind the counter for you. Hint, hint. There you go. Hopefully someone will use my online store, and thank you very much to the people that do use my online store. More people that use that, the more I will start putting more stuff on it. Anyway, back to the fishes. So that deal was online only, so not in shop. So you have to click the little Shopify link, but I'll send it anywhere in Australia. Yeah, it's famous last words. Oh, 2 awesome fish. These are my fish. You can't have these. Sorry. We have Oscars. What are these? These are albino tiger Oscars. Okay, South American fish again. So these are obviously the albino versions. So you don't really get the albinos in the wild. I'm sure albino Oscars in the wild would probably survive though. They get like 30, 40 centimeters. Super aggro. Well, they're not really aggro. They've just got a big mouth. So they're going to eat most tetras and most things that fit in their mouth. So expect a 30 centimeter fish to eat like about a 5 to 6 centimeter fish on average. I might try and eat a 10 centimeter fish. Very friendly, awesome fish. Now, being a tiger Oscar, they have the cool little pattern to them, and that red will actually develop with age. So when they mature, you've got this lovely orangey white fish with bright red squiggles through them. I know, they're very, very cool fish, very friendly, intelligent fish, so you can have one in like about a 250 litre tank. It's going to interact with you. These are the awesome pet fish that everyone always usually has. Yeah, if you want something a little bit bigger than a standard sort of fish, is there even a standard fish? No, there's not really, is there? Okay, if you want a bigger cichlid that's really cool, go for a Tiger Oscar. Not overly expensive, but super, super cool if you want a pet-friendly fish. 6 to 7 pH, temperature-wise, 24, 26 degrees, you'll be perfectly fine with these. They grow super fast, so they grow from 5 centimetre size like this to about 20, 30 centimetres in the first year. They just go really, really fast. Then they slow down. They can live for a good 10, 15 years as well, so you can get a good pet fish. Really awesome if you want something normal and nice. Normal and nice. Normal can be nice. Sure it can. Maybe. Oh, we have a bag of little wiggly fish. Okay, killifish. These are another Asian little fish. Looks like a catfish, but they're a loach. Looks more like an eel than a catfish, doesn't it? Okay, act like a catfish, look like an eel, but they're a loach. Don't get any bigger than about 10 centimeters or so. Very cool, very stripy. I do plan on breeding these in spring. It's just too cold to even go near my fish at the moment because they are kind of outside. They're warm, but I'm not when I look at them. I know, but if you want a nice, peaceful schooling fish, go for these. You want like a good 3, 6 or more, and you'll see them. If you only got 1 or 2, they're gonna spend all their time hiding under the substrate. They'll dig into soft sand and stuff like that, or hide around plant roots or under little rocks and stuff. But if you have a group of them, they're usually out and about. They are nocturnal as well, so in the daytime they kind of hide unless they see food. At night, they're all over your tank, wiggling and looking like a whole big tank of cool wiggly eels. Yes, super peaceful. They've got tiny little mouths, so they're not going to eat really anything small. You can technically keep them with shrimp. So they're only going to eat a shrimp if the shrimp is right in front of them, bite size, and accidentally goes in their mouth, which could probably work with most things. Things are only really going to get eaten if they go inside the mouth of something else. Cut. And ironically, the last bag is fish we've already unboxed. It's just an extra bag of giant Dontios. Okay, that was this week's unboxing. If you've got any questions, comment down below. If you need help trying to find the online store, just comment down there. Or you can go to www.paulsaquariums.com and there are links on my website. And just click the links, it'll go to the online shop, and the Fritz Completes stuff is on the main page. So click on that. It's already discounted there. If I sell out, send me an email. I can add more on for you, but there's enough of it on there, hopefully, for the first lot of people. But that deal is only for the next week or so. So if you're watching this in the future, check out any of the newer videos, and the newer videos will probably have random deals on them as well. But if you go to the web page, you'll see what's on special anyway. So just click all the things on special and go for it. There you go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you're a member of my channel as well, you get another 10% off any of those deals. So put your member code in at checkout and you'll get a deal on the deals, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like 30% off on stuff. Anyway, not many people watch this part of the video, so you know who you are. You're welcome to a discount. Put your little codey thing in. And thank you to all my members. We'll see you in the next video. Rah!